get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show.
The aim of What If is really just to engage people in some honest, open discourse around diversity, inclusivity, and equity, particularly in our organization, but just in the world today generally as well. And to really encourage that dialogue that's open, and to actually put our hands up and say what it is that we don't know, what we do know, what we think we could do differently, do better, and learn a bit from each other if we can. And the reason I asked you guys to come on today was because it's your fault that I'm doing this. So this is all about blaming the pesky old white guys. And my first question to all of you, because all of you in the last few years of knowing you, which has been an absolute privilege, all of you have referred to yourselves as O.W.Gs. And just for the record, I know the G in O.W.G is guy, but I'm pretty sure there are some gals out there who are probably guilty of that label. And to me, calling you an O.W.G is no different to somebody calling me something offensive, really. So first things first, what is it about that label that made you, I know, tongue-in-cheek, but regardless, call yourself an O.W.G? And the first person who said it to me was Brock, so I'm going to ask you that first, Brock.
I don't think of it as a negative label at all. I'm sorry that you do. For me, it's a badge of honor, and it's a descriptive. I recognized a long time ago that I was one of this majority in the audiovisual industry, that way too many people looked like me. They wore pants about the same size. They ate the same number of cheeseburgers, and that this was an issue in the industry. But I am not unproud of being either old or a white guy. I'm okay with that.
Tim, you were on the call where Brock called himself an O.W.G, and I think even before that, and the reason why I got involved in these conversations were you invited me to an episode of AV Nation, which was not long after the George Floyd killing in the States and the issues that then followed. Yeah. or became, well, not that they followed actually, I think they were always there, but that gained more notice. Same question to you.
I'm a little bit like Brock. I don't see it as a negative. I see it just as an honest assessment. And I've said this several times, and I'll continue to say it until somebody takes a mic from me. I understand who I am and where I am, right? I am a straight white male in an industry that is predominantly straight white and male, as Brock says. And as somebody who has been blessed with a small platform, it is incumbent upon me to shine the light on that, right? Each of us in our own way can help those who don't have a leg up in this world. And that can be anything from hiring to spotlighting to encouraging folks who are in the minority to get involved, right? Or to, hire them for a position. One of the things that I can do, and I have done, is, a number of years ago, we at AV Nation made the concerted effort to say, okay, there's not a whole lot of women in the industry. The percentage is well below 50%. So let's have someone, right, to show them, right, because representation matters. And when it was pointed out to me, because I am an O.W.G, and there are blind spots that I have, that we don't have a whole lot of people of color on at least AV Week. Again, we sat down and said, okay, let's make a concerted effort, right? This isn't about quotas or whatever. It's about representation and showing folks that there is a diversity in the industry, and highlighting those people. And so after the Floyd incident and after that episode, we made a concerted effort to have more people of color in general on our podcast. Again, this is a small part of what we can do, but as somebody who is an O.W.G, who understands where I am, I think the onus is on us to make the world better than we found it.
Brilliant, thank you. Jason?
I think as some of those pesky millennials have started to turn it from a badge of honor to a label, I've tried to distance myself from it a little bit, because it started to build its own sort of negative sort of connotations. So I'd say I'm striving for grumpy old sod rather than old white guy. So I'm just trying to divert.
I don't know about striving, you're already there.
So I'm just trying to divert my own personal narrative.
I don't know if it's a badge of honor, like Brock says, but I do know that I have a lot to learn. My background's a little off because I'm first generation American, so not growing up learning, with English as the first language in my house was always very odd. So coming into an industry that's predominantly white and being looked at as now an O.W.G is funny, because there's so much I got to learn, because to me it was not a label that I dealt with. I mean, I have my own story and how things were, but as a kid playing ball, and probably Brock McGinnis would probably get a laugh at this, I was the Dominican Republic second baseman. I was Damaso Garcia. I had a gold chain around my neck and a fake stash, right? Like that was, the kind of thing that kind of happened, growing up in a town that was mixed. Like they didn't know what Portuguese was. So for me, they just referred to me as Spanish or Latin American, and it is what it is. And Brock, he played for the Yankees. I know he played for the Blue Jays at one point too. But this coming of age and becoming the person that I am today, and understanding, terms like privilege and, what people kind of perceive, what an O.W.G is something that I'm learning, simply because, what I thought I was doing right all my life, apparently I need to rethink some of this stuff, because I'll be the first person to admit that, I grew up and I use a phrase that is not the most well-liked phrase these days, but when people ask me about what it is to be, growing up in this world and stuff like that, not only am I myself, but for my own children, right? I have two kids, one's freshman in college, the other one's a junior in high school. I grew up with a badge of I don't see color, and then raising my kids with that same mindset, and that's the wrong way to do it. I need them to see that. And it's funny because I'm learning from a 16-year-old how different it is today than it was earlier, because my first friends were not white, right? And it's been a journey. It's been fun. But as far as where I am today, I'm still trying to make sense of, am I technically that? Yes, I'm white, I have gray hair, am I stodgy like Jason? Maybe, but I've always been more neutral than anything else. And willing to learn, I think, separates me from, I guess, the evil connotation of what an O.W.G could be. And exactly. I think that's where I'm a little bit in between fence and trying to figure out where that goes.
And that's that label, that negative is the one that I really wanted to discuss with you guys, because to me, I can treat it as 3 factual words and descriptively correct, but it is used, and sometimes it's used in a throwaway fashion of saying, oh, look, it's another bunch of O.W.Gs making a decision, or there's no diversity in that panel, or there's value for every human that's in a conversation, to my mind. And I'm not talking about any kind of utopia, but there is certainly value for people to bring, and there's value in the experience that's across our industry. And yes, historically, we know that a lot of that knowledge lives amongst a set of older because time has passed, white, gentlemen, not going to say guys, and present company included.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna